Welcome back to the deep dive. Today we're going to cut through some of the noise around a skincare product. It's really been dominating online chats lately, and it's making some pretty impressive, maybe even audacious claims about results. We are, of course, diving into the Dr. Melaxin Peel Shot Glow Rice. If your social feeds have, like, any beauty content, you've probably seen this pop up. It's been buzzing everywhere with this one really bold promise: shrink your pores by over 70% after just one use. Now, I mean, that's a statement that definitely gets your attention, right? So our mission today is to unpack what this product actually is, what it claims to do, and maybe figure out if it really lives up to that pretty incredible hype for you.
Exactly. And that's why a deep dive like this is, well, so important. The market is just flooded with stuff, grand promises. And when you see a claim as specific as 70% pore reduction single use, you really need to take a closer, critical look. So we'll be looking into the science, what users are actually saying about it, and basically give you the context to decide, is this peel shot a potential game changer for your routine, or is it just another interesting but maybe fleeting trend in the huge world of skincare? We want you to have an informed view.
Okay, let's unpack this then. At its core, the Dr. Melaxin Peel Shot Glow Rice is an exfoliating ampoule, which, if you're not familiar, is basically like a super concentrated serum. It's designed to give you a really potent dose of active ingredients. And, like the name says, rice is a key ingredient here. It's meant to give your skin a thorough but kind of unique exfoliation experience. It feels pretty different from your standard chemical peel or, a physical scrub. What's quite interesting too is that it comes in two versions. Each one targets slightly different things. So you've got the white rice version. That one's focused mainly on getting an overall glow and improving your skin's texture, aiming for that really radiant, smooth finish. Then there's the black rice version. That's specifically made for a deeper cleanse, sort of geared more towards tackling blackheads and congestion. So depending on what you're trying to achieve with your skin, there's a tailored option.
Right. And regardless of which one you go for, the white or the black rice, what's good to see, looking at the sources, is that both are packed with ingredients that are, pretty well established, stuff that works. We're talking about things like niacinamide, for instance, which is great for, well, lots of things. Strengthening the skin barrier, reducing redness, even improving how pores look. You'll also find hyaluronic acid in there, a real hydration star. It pulls moisture into the skin, plumps it up, makes it feel more supple. But the main exfoliating action, the real heavy lifting in these ampoules, comes from a pretty carefully chosen mix of acids: AHAs, BHAs, and PHAs.
Okay, so multiple acids doing different things.
Exactly. AHAs, like glycolic or lactic acid, they work mostly on the surface. They dissolve the glue between dead skin cells, revealing brighter skin. BHAs, like salicylic acid, are oil-soluble. That's key. It means they can get deeper into your pores to clear out sebum and gunk. Really good for blackheads. And then you have PHAs. They have bigger molecules, so they exfoliate more gently. Often better for sensitive skin, and they hydrate a bit too. So it's not just one thing, it's like a multi-level approach to exfoliation and skin health.
Okay, so the science seems solid with those ingredients. We know they work. But what about actually using it? Our sources really highlighted this unique sensory thing that seems to set it apart. The texture itself is described as pretty thick and maybe slightly grainy, which is already different from a lot of liquid exfoliants. But the really interesting part is what happens when you rub it on your skin. It actually forms these little bits, like tiny clumps, that ball up right there. Expert, is that actually dead skin coming off? Or is it something else happening?
Yeah, that's a great question. It touches on the art of formulating skincare. So while the product does have effective exfoliants, the AHAs, the BHAs, working to loosen dead skin cells, what you're seeing balling up isn't just dead skin. It's mostly a thing that happens with products containing certain polymers, often cellulose. When you rub these formulas, especially if your skin's a bit damp, these polymers can kind of clump together. That gives you that visual pilling or balling.
Oh, okay.
It feels really satisfying, though. Like you're physically rolling away the bad stuff. And it definitely helps lift off those loosened dead cells and any product residue. So it's quite clever, really. You've got the chemical exfoliation happening, and the balling gives you a gentle physical scrub, plus that immediate feeling of, oh, something's happening.
Right, that instant feedback.
Exactly. And user reactions, like you said, are mixed. Some people absolutely love seeing that visible proof. Others might find it a bit strange, maybe messy. But what seems consistent is that this unique experience really contributes to why people feel it's effective, that instant gratification. It bridges the gap between a chemical process and a satisfying physical feeling.
That explanation of the balling up is really helpful, understanding it's part genuine exfoliation, part clever formulation.
Yeah.
Which brings us back to that really bold claim: shrinking your pores by over 70% after just one use. Expert. What's your take on a number like that in terms of, actual skin biology?
Yeah, what's insightful here and what our sources point towards is that a claim like 70% pore reduction it almost always refers to a temporary visual effect,
Yeah.
not a permanent change in structure. Our skin just doesn't work that way. You can't permanently shrink pores dramatically with a topical product. Pore size is mostly down to genetics, age, oil production. However, good exfoliation and hydration can absolutely make pores look smaller. Think about it. When dead skin and sebum build up, they can stretch the pore opening, making it look bigger, more obvious. So by clearing that congestion out, which this peel shot does with its acids, and by plumping the skin with things like hyaluronic acid, the pores look less shadowed, less clogged. Visually, they seem smaller. So while the product does deliver on making pores appear reduced and skin smoother, the key insight is appreciating the real science without getting caught up in the hypermarketing number. That number is catchy, but sets maybe unrealistic expectations.
That makes total sense. It's about knowing the difference between the marketing spin and what's actually biologically possible. And looking at the user results reported in the sources, it seems like while 70% might be a stretch, people are seeing real positive changes that fit your explanation. The most common feedback seems to be that skin feels way smoother, like right away. That immediate touch difference is a big deal for people. Users also talk about seeing less bumpy texture, the kind you get from clogged pores. So maybe you can't measure 70% with a ruler, but that feeling of smoother skin and visibly better texture, that seems to be a real takeaway for many users right after using it. That immediate result must be a big reason people like it.
Oh, absolutely. That instant sensory feedback and visible improvement, that's what keeps people engaged. And this leads us to the overall effectiveness. Our sources kind of concluded it's not a miracle product, but it's not a scam either, which I think is a really important distinction in skincare. It's not a miracle because, like we said, it won't fundamentally change your pore size forever or fix everything overnight. That's just not biologically feasible for a topical, but it's definitely not a scam. There's decent science here, lots of good reviews, because the ingredients do work for exfoliation and hydration. They lead to those real results, like smoother texture and pores looking better. If you connect this to the bigger picture, it really just shows the gap between those huge marketing claims and the actual realistic benefits a product can offer. It helps manage expectations.
That's a really grounded way to look at it.
Yep.
And it takes us straight to a very practical point. The value. Is it worth the money? Because let's be real, skincare costs add up. We want to know if we're getting our money's worth. This Dr. Melaxin Peel Shot Glow Rice, it costs around $40 a bottle, which puts it in that mid to high range for just one exfoliating product. Now, usage-wise, sources suggest you can get about 20 applications if you're careful. And since most people seem to use it just once a week because it's described as pretty strong, and you don't want to overdo exfoliation, one bottle could actually last quite a while, maybe several months. So that initial $40 hit might feel a bit better when you spread it out per use. But expert, how does that price stack up against other stuff out there?
Yeah, that's the important question, isn't it? Value relative to the whole market. While the cost per use might seem okay over time, you could definitely argue there are cheaper options that might give you similar exfoliation results. For example, if you already use a good chemical exfoliant, maybe a serum with AHA or BHA that works for you, you might already be getting that smoothness and texture improvement. You might not need this specific product on top. And the sources even mention simple traditional things, like a good old Korean Italy towel.
Oh yeah, those.
Right. For those who don't know, they're these textured viscose cloths, super cheap, surprisingly effective at sloughing off dead skin just with water. So while the Dr. Melaxin Peel Shot has that unique feel and blend of ingredients, you really need to consider your current routine and your budget. Are you looking for something novel and experiential, or are you focused on cost effectiveness and things you already know work for you? It comes down to personal priorities.
So are we saying if someone's already got a good exfoliant they like, maybe a chemical one, or even just that Italy towel, this peel shot isn't really necessary? Or does it offer something genuinely unique beyond that cool balling up thing that might make it worth it for some people?
That's exactly the point. It's definitely not necessary if your current routine works, but the Dr. Melaxin does offer a different kind of experience. It's the combo. Those decent chemical exfoliants, plus that unique, satisfying physical sensation from the balling, plus having things like niacinamide and hyaluronic acid packed into an ampoule format, it creates a distinct package. For some people, that multitasking approach and the immediate feedback will feel worth the price. For others, their existing, maybe cheaper routine is perfectly fine. It really boils down to personal preference and how much you value that specific product experience.
Yeah.
Okay, that really clarifies things. So with all that discussed, what does this mean for you listening right now? Who is this Dr. Melaxin Peel Shot Glow Rice really for? Our deep dive suggests a few types of people might really like it. First, it's for those who specifically like that physical peeling effect. If you enjoy actually feeling and seeing those little bits ball up, if you find that super satisfying, then yeah, this product delivers that tactile experience. It's also probably for people who don't mind spending a bit more for something trendy or different.
Mm.
If you get excited about trying the latest skincare innovations, new formulas, or just want something that feels unique to use, then the $40 price and novel texture probably won't put you off. And of course, if you're generally into trying new skincare experiences, or maybe you're specifically curious about rice-based products, you've heard about rice for hydration or brightening, this could be a fun one to try. It taps into that sense of discovery a lot of us enjoy with skincare.
And just as importantly, who might not find this essential? It helps manage expectations and spending. Well, if you're on a tight budget, that $40 for one exfoliator might be better put towards other basics or cheaper alternatives that do a similar job. And crucially, if you are already perfectly happy with your current exfoliator, whether it's a serum, a scrub, an enzyme mask, whatever, then honestly, you're probably not missing out on anything life-changing by skipping this. It's a good product, it has unique points, but it's not like an absolute must-have everyone needs. Your current routine might be serving you just fine, and that's totally okay.
Right. So to wrap up this deep dive on the Dr. Melaxin Peel Shot Glow Rice, let's hit the key takeaways for you. It's definitely a popular product, grabbed a lot of attention with interesting claims, and as we found, a really unique user experience. People consistently say it helps make skin smoother and reduces that bumpy texture, giving that satisfying immediate result.
Yeah, ultimately, what we've seen is that while it might not be some miracle that transforms skin overnight in ways biology doesn't allow, it's definitely not just hype. It has a solid base with effective ingredients and lots of happy users delivering real, tangible benefits. It really just depends on whether this particular kind of exfoliation, this sort of skincare vibe, the tangible action, the noticeable improvement fits with what you like, what's already in your routine, and of course, your budget. Knowing your own preferences and needs is always the key to making smart choices.
Absolutely. And that brings us to our final thought for you to consider today. With so many exfoliating options out there now, from your standard chemical liquids to enzyme masks, even those super effective physical tools like the Italy towel, how much value do you personally place on a unique sensory experience and a trendy product like this Dr. Melaxin Peel Shot? How does that weigh against, say, cost effectiveness and the maybe less dramatic but still proven results you might get from the tried and true staples already in your bathroom cabinet? Something to think about for your next skincare decision.